If you asked 10 people how to protect their kidneys, most would say the same two things: drink more water, cut back on salt. Both matter, but they're not the whole story. There's a window of time almost nobody talks about: the last hour before you go to sleep, and what you put in your body during that window has more influence on your kidneys than most people realize. Here's why that matters, especially after 60. Kidney damage doesn't announce itself. There's almost no pain involved because the kidneys have very few pain-sensing nerves. By the time a routine blood test flags a problem, a meaningful chunk of your filtering capacity may already be gone. And unlike the liver, kidneys don't grow back what they've lost. That's the uncomfortable part. Here's the encouraging part: the decline can be slowed dramatically, sometimes almost stopped, once you understand what your kidneys are actually doing overnight and stop working against it. Tonight, I want to walk you through a set of foods that support that overnight process. Some familiar, a couple that might surprise you, and one that comes with a genuine caveat I'll explain honestly rather than gloss over. At the end, I'll give you a simple bedtime combination that pulls several of them together. Why the evening matters. Each kidney contains roughly 1 million microscopic filtering units called nephrons. At the center of each one is a tiny cluster of blood vessels, the actual filter. You're born with a fixed supply of these. They don't regenerate, so the entire strategy after 60 is about protecting the ones you still have. Two things wear them down over time. The first is pressure. Every spike in blood pressure pushes against those delicate vessels, and over years, that repeated force can scar and close them off one by one. The second is oxidative stress, essentially a slow chemical wear and tear inside your cells, similar to what turns a sliced apple brown. Normally, blood pressure isn't supposed to stay flat around the clock. In a healthy body, it drops noticeably during sleep, often called nocturnal dipping. And that dip is when the kidneys get their real recovery time. People whose pressure fails to drop at night tend to lose kidney function faster. This is a well-documented pattern in kidney research. So the goal for that last hour before bed is simple: help your blood pressure make its natural nighttime drop, calm oxidative stress, and avoid giving your kidneys extra work right as they're trying to rest. Every food on this list does at least one of those three jobs. And with one exception, which I'll flag clearly, they're all gentle, low-sugar choices that suit a nighttime routine. The list? Blueberries. Their deep color comes from anthocyanins, some of the most potent antioxidants found in any food. They directly target the oxidative stress that wears down the filtering vessels, and research consistently links diets rich in these pigments to better blood vessel function and lower inflammation, which matters enormously for an organ that's essentially built out of blood vessels. Blueberries are also naturally low in both potassium and sodium, making them one of the safer fruits even for kidneys already under some strain. A small handful, around half a cup, on their own or stirred into plain yogurt is plenty. Frozen berries work just as well as fresh. Cranberries. Most people only think of cranberries for urinary tract discomfort, but the mechanism behind that reputation is worth understanding. They contain a specific compound that makes it physically harder for bacteria to adhere to the urinary tract lining. That matters for kidney health specifically because untreated urinary infections that travel upward are a real and preventable cause of long-term kidney damage. On top of that, cranberries carry the same antioxidant family as blueberries. Skip the sugary juice cocktails. They're closer to soda than fruit. A small spoonful of unsweetened dried cranberries, or a splash of pure unsweetened cranberry juice diluted with water, is enough. Red or purple grapes. The color is the whole point here. Skip the green ones. The skin contains resveratrol, one of the most studied compounds in aging research, which helps calm inflammation and relax blood vessels. Relaxed vessels support a smoother, lower nighttime blood pressure, which is exactly the recovery condition the kidneys need. Grapes also contain a small natural amount of melatonin, which can gently support sleep, and better sleep supports a healthier nighttime blood pressure dip. Because grapes are sweeter than berries, portion control matters. About 10 to 15 grapes, eaten whole with the skin on, is the right evening amount. Freezing them first turns a quick snack into something that takes longer to eat. Apples. An apple supports kidney health indirectly, through the gut. Apples are rich in pectin, a soluble fiber that feeds beneficial gut bacteria. A calm, well-fed gut produces far less low-grade inflammation that would otherwise circulate through the bloodstream and add to the kidney's workload, a relationship researchers now refer to as the gut-kidney axis. The skin also contains quercetin, an antioxidant that supports blood vessel health, so it's worth eating the apple whole rather than peeled. Apples are naturally low in potassium as well. A medium apple, ideally a slightly tart variety, eaten an hour or two before bed, gives the fiber time to start working before you lie down. Tart cherries. This one does something none of the others on this list do. It helps lower uric acid, a waste product that, when elevated, contributes to gout, kidney stones, and, increasingly, to faster kidney decline over time. Tart cherries are also one of the richest natural sources of melatonin available in food, making them a genuinely fitting choice for a bedtime routine, since supporting deeper sleep supports the nighttime blood pressure dip the kidneys depend on. Use unsweetened dried tart cherries or a small splash of pure unsweetened tart cherry juice diluted with water about an hour before bed. Anything labeled as a cherry cocktail or flavored drink is mostly sugar and won't deliver the same benefit. Strawberries. Like blueberries, strawberries are rich in antioxidants, including ellagic acid, along with a substantial dose of vitamin C, both of which help counter the oxidative stress that gradually damages the filtering vessels. They're also genuinely anti-inflammatory, which matters because chronic low-grade inflammation is one of the underlying drivers of kidney decline. Strawberries are mostly water and fiber, with relatively little sugar, making them light on the stomach at night. They contain somewhat more potassium than blueberries, so if your kidneys are already compromised, keep the portion modest, around half a cup to a cup, sliced on their own or with a spoonful of plain yogurt. Okay. Pineapple. This is the one most people never think to eat for kidney support. Pineapple is the only common fruit containing bromelain, a natural enzyme with genuine anti-inflammatory properties that also eases digestion, meaning less downstream work for the kidneys overnight. It brings a good dose of vitamin C as well. Despite its sweetness, pineapple is relatively low in potassium and mostly water, making it hydrating without being heavy. Because it is one of the sweeter fruits on this list, keep the portion to about half a cup of fresh pineapple and choose fresh or frozen rather than canned, which is typically packed in added syrup. Citrus, and the honest caveat. Oranges and other citrus fruits are one of the richest natural sources of citrate, a compound that binds to calcium in urine and helps prevent it from forming kidney stones, a genuine, well-established protective effect. Citrus also delivers substantial vitamin C and antioxidants. For someone with healthy kidneys, citrus is a solid choice. Here's the caveat. Citrus is high in potassium. Healthy kidneys clear excess potassium without difficulty, and potassium itself supports healthy blood pressure. But kidneys that are already significantly impaired, in later stage chronic kidney disease or on dialysis, often cannot clear potassium efficiently, and it can build up to dangerous levels in the blood. So the rule is straightforward. If you have a diagnosed kidney condition or take medication that affects potassium levels, don't add citrus, bananas, or other high potassium fruits to your routine without checking with your doctor first. For most people, citrus in the evening is fine. For some, it genuinely isn't, and only blood work can tell you which group you're in. Where fruit stops and medical care starts. These foods support healthy kidneys and mild early strain. They are not a treatment for kidneys that are already struggling. If you notice swelling in your legs, ankles, or around your eyes, foamy or bubbly urine, blood in your urine, a sudden drop in how much you're urinating, or pain in your back or side below the ribs, those aren't things to address with fruit. See a doctor. And if you already have a kidney diagnosis, are on dialysis, or take blood pressure or potassium-related medication, run all of this by your doctor first, especially the citrus. A brief example. I think of a patient I'll call Robert, 69, who came in feeling perfectly fine. His blood work told a different story. His eGFR, the number that reflects how well the kidneys are filtering, had slipped into a range worth watching, and his creatinine had crept upward. He had no diabetes, didn't drink much, and had simply assumed kidney problems happen to other people. We didn't start with medication. We started with his evenings. He'd developed a habit of winding down with salty chips or a bowl of ice cream most nights. Right as his kidneys were trying to enter their recovery window, we swapped it. Some nights a small handful of blueberries and strawberries, other nights a sliced apple with cinnamon or a spoonful of tart cherries, an hour or so before bed. We kept citrus to daytime until his potassium levels confirmed it was safe. He added a short walk after dinner since movement itself helps lower blood pressure. A year later, his eGFR had held steady. It hadn't climbed back. Kidneys don't regenerate what they've lost, but it had stopped declining, and his blood pressure was the best it had been in years. For a kidney in its late 60s, holding steady is a genuine win. A simple bedtime combination. Here's a quick way to bring several of these together in one glass, about an hour before bed. A small handful of blueberries, roughly a quarter cup. 4 or 5 sliced strawberries, a small splash of pure unsweetened cranberry or tart cherry juice, about half a cup of plain unsweetened yogurt or kefir for a gut health boost, a little water to thin it out, a light dusting of cinnamon, blend until smooth. It's low in sugar, low in potassium, and gives your kidneys exactly the kind of antioxidant support they benefit from overnight, instead of the salty snack or dessert that would otherwise undo the evening. If you'd rather not use a blender, a small bowl of blueberries and sliced strawberries with a spoonful of plain yogurt accomplishes most of the same thing. Citrus is deliberately left out of this combination because of the potassium consideration. If your kidneys are healthy and you've been cleared, keep citrus as a separate daytime choice instead. 5 things to do tonight. Make your last food of the day one of these fruits instead of something salty or sweet, so your kidneys start their recovery window with less cleanup work to do. Pick one low potassium option you already have on hand, blueberries, strawberries, or an apple, and eat a small portion about an hour before bed. If you want the fuller effect, put together the bedtime combination above. Add a short walk after dinner. It's a simple, low-effort way to support lower blood pressure, which is the biggest lever you have for kidney health. If you have any kidney condition or take blood pressure or potassium-related medication, write down one question for your next doctor's visit. Which fruits are safe given my current potassium levels? That single question will tell you exactly where you stand. Choosing the right foods in the evening is a meaningful first step. But there's another marker, one most people over 60 have never heard of, that can flag kidney trouble years before creatinine levels ever move, and most doctors won't bring it up unless you ask.